Opening question. Let us begin with an important question. Why do emotions sometimes feel stronger than logic? You may have noticed this in your own life. Sometimes you know the right thing to do, but in the moment, you still feel angry, nervous, embarrassed, or frustrated. For example, during an argument, you may say something before thinking. Before a test, you may know you studied, but anxiety still takes over. This happens because emotions can arise very quickly, often before careful thinking has had time to catch up. This does not mean you are weak, dramatic, or out of control. It means your brain is doing what brains naturally do. Emotions are designed to help you respond fast, especially when something feels important, threatening, unfair, or exciting. In this module, we will explore what is happening inside the brain during those moments. More importantly, we will learn how mindfulness helps you create space between what you feel and what you do next. That space is where wiser choices begin. Topics covered. In this module, we will cover 4 connected ideas. First, we will look at the emotional brain. This is the part of your brain that reacts quickly to situations, especially when something feels intense or personal. It helps you detect danger, reward, and social signals very fast. Next, we will explore the thinking brain. This part helps with judgment, planning, decision-making, and self-control. It allows you to pause, reflect, and choose an action instead of acting on impulse. Then we will discuss the stress response. When stress becomes strong, the brain and body shift into survival mode. In that state, it can become harder to think clearly, listen well, or stay calm. Finally, we will focus on emotional regulation. This means learning how to work with emotions in a healthy way. Emotional regulation does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending they are not there. It means noticing emotions, understanding them, and responding skillfully. As we move through these topics, keep in mind one central idea. Mindfulness helps connect emotional awareness with thoughtful action. Explain. Your brain has different systems that work together, and understanding this helps explain a lot about your behavior. One system reacts very quickly. Its job is to scan for what matters right now. It asks questions like, is this safe? Is this unfair? Am I being judged? Do I need to act immediately? This fast reacting system is useful because it helps you respond rapidly in important situations. Another system helps you think carefully before acting. This system supports reasoning, planning, and self-control. It helps you ask, what is really happening here? What are my options? What will happen if I say or do this? This system is slower, but it is also wiser and more balanced. The goal is not to get rid of emotions. Emotions are a normal and valuable part of being human. The goal is to help these brain systems work together more effectively. When they are connected, you can feel your emotion without being completely controlled by it. This is where mindfulness becomes powerful. Mindfulness strengthens the connection between these systems. When you practice paying attention calmly and on purpose, you train yourself to notice feelings earlier, slow down automatic reactions, and give your thinking brain time to engage. This idea leads directly into the next slide, where we will compare reacting automatically with responding thoughtfully. Visual animation. This slide shows 2 different pathways. The first pathway is event, then emotion, then pause, then thoughtful response. Imagine someone says something rude to you. First, the event happens. Then you feel an emotion, maybe anger or hurt. But instead of reacting instantly, you pause. That pause may last only a few seconds, but it is extremely important. In that brief moment, you breathe, notice what you are feeling, and allow your thinking brain to come online. Then you choose a thoughtful response, such as speaking calmly, walking away, or deciding not to make the situation worse. Now look at the second pathway. Event, then emotion, then automatic reaction. In this pattern, the feeling leads directly to behavior. There is no space to reflect. You may yell, shut down, send a harsh message, or act in a way you later regret. This is common, especially during stress, but it often creates more problems. The pause is the key difference between these 2 paths. Mindfulness helps you build that pause. It does not erase the emotion, but it changes what happens next. And that matters because even a small pause can turn a difficult moment into a wiser choice. This brings us to the science behind why that pause is so necessary. Science Spotlight. Here is the scientific idea behind what we have been discussing. When we are overwhelmed, our ability to think clearly becomes more difficult. In stressful moments, the brain gives more power to fast emotional and survival-based reactions. This is helpful in true emergencies, but in everyday situations, it can lead to impulsive choices, misunderstandings, and regret. For teenagers, this is especially important to understand. During adolescence, the brain is still developing, especially the areas involved in planning, judgment, and self-control. That means strong emotions can sometimes feel even more intense, and thoughtful thinking may take more effort in stressful moments. This is normal brain development, not a personal failure. The good news is that slowing down helps. When you pause, breathe, and bring attention to the present moment, you give the thinking parts of the brain time to become involved. You are creating the conditions for clearer judgment. Even one slow breath can help reduce the speed of an emotional reaction. So mindfulness is not just a nice idea. It is a practical skill supported by science. It helps your brain shift from automatic reaction toward intentional response. This leads us to the most important message of the module. Key takeaway. Here is the key takeaway. You cannot always choose your first emotion, but you can learn to choose your next action. Your first emotion often appears automatically. You may feel angry, scared, embarrassed, jealous, or disappointed before you even have time to think. That first emotional wave is part of being human. You do not need to judge yourself for having it. What matters most is what you do after that feeling appears. With practice, you can notice the emotion, pause, breathe, and decide how you want to respond. That is emotional regulation. That is mindfulness in action. This is a very important life skill. It can improve your friendships, family relationships, school performance, and confidence. It helps you become someone who is not controlled by every passing emotion, but someone who can meet emotions with awareness and wisdom. As you continue in this course, remember this: emotions are powerful, but they do not have to make every decision for you. With mindfulness, you can learn to respond instead of react.